So now turn to the side. Remember to make sure that the inside borders of your feet are parallel and that when you bend your knees, they go forwards over the centre of your feet, basically following everything that we've learnt so far. Now look in the mirror at the position of your pelvis and your back. What should happen when you bend your knees is that your centre of gravity here should move forwards and down. This is so that you can balance your weight over the centre of your skis, which enables you to control them through the snow and make the most out of their shape. So that you focus on your centre of gravity, I want you to put one hand on your tummy below your belly button. So here's my belly button, my hand's here, and the other here, basically where your back turns into your buttocks. I want you to imagine your centre of gravity between your two hands, slightly nearer the front hand. So, the first thing to check is that you're not sitting down like this. See what happens to the weight going through your feet. The weight actually moves backwards instead of forwards. This is therefore completely counteractive and you're going to really struggle to control the movement of your skis. See if you can self-correct like this. The second thing that you need to check is that you're not arching your back and tilting your pelvis forwards like this. Now you can see on Mark that it looks like his bottom's sticking out. See if you can self-correct like this. The problem with both of these is the pelvis is not a neutral. This makes the subtle movements necessary to balance over the centre of your skis very difficult. It can lead to excessive upper body movements and problems producing the smooth and controlled weight transference that's necessary for a good ski technique. You also need to look at the relationship between your upper body and your centre of gravity. Put your hands back on your centre of gravity. Now move one hand to your sternum in the centre of your chest, here. We're going to call this the centre of your upper body. Draw an imaginary line between the two. Now, when you bend your knees forwards into a ski position, this line will move directly forwards so that the line stays vertical or is slightly tilted forwards. So, what a lot of people do is move their upper body excessively forwards, like this. What you can see is happening is this has forced Mark's bottom to move backwards, which has actually put the weight through the back of his feet more than the front of his feet. This is going to make it really hard for him to control his skis. So let's see if you can self-correct, like this. When you see fantastic skiers in photos or videos, it often looks like they're leaning forwards a lot more than they actually are. That's because they're on a steep slope. Sounds really obvious, but see if you can take a photo and straighten it up, and you'll see that they're not actually leaning forward as far as you think they are. In fact, in order to take your upper body forwards without letting your centre of gravity drop back, you need to have a highly advanced control of your hips and your pelvis using your core stability muscles, and that's how racers do it. So, if you're struggling to correct your forwards-backwards movements, don't panic. What it could be is that you've got a weak core stability, and I'm going to cover how to train that in Chapter 3, Scene 2. If you can self-correct, keep practicing until you've got the hang of it. That's what I call the brain-body connection, and I'm going to be talking a bit more about that in Chapter 4.